Vairagya controls the mind. It leads us to steadiness and calmness. Then only you will be able to make practices. Otherwise you will give reasons. We give reasons. So, Sri Ramakrishna has said so many ideas like this. And of course, Sri Ramakrishna also has said, if you have faith in the words of Guru, you can achieve everything. But is it such an easy thing to have the faith? Mind always doubts. You may not express it, but inwardly you may not believe it. Either you must try to practice yourself, or you must hold on to somebody, take their guidance and go on. Both the ways are there. All the spiritual masters have come to practice the spiritual ideal which is enunciated in the verses which just now I chanted. And they have shown by their life it is certainly possible to have that unique experience of oneness with God, that supreme, divine, Satchidananda existence, knowledge, bliss absolute. Once we get into that highest experience of bliss, then there is no more delusion, there is no more ignorance, there is no more unpleasantness or unhappiness, no more misery or any such thing. One gets completely released from the Maya Shakti of the Supreme Divine Being. We are all under delusion because of the Maya Shakti. Sri Ramakrishna has explained many times that the whole activity, what we are saying in this universe, is just a play, just a game, nothing but game. So, we have come here and we are playing our part in the game. Some people play well, some people do not know how to play, some people play this way, that way. Anyway, the whole thing is a game. To realize that, we require a lot of experience in our life. Life is nothing but a forum to give us experience, to give us an awakening. What is real? What is unreal? What is Maya? What is that divine power? What do you mean by happiness? Because what the happiness which I am deriving through my senses, through the contact of the objects in this world. This happiness doesn't seem to be real happiness at all, because it is followed by pain, unpleasantness, tension, worry. How can you call it real happiness? When the happiness that we experience in this world is followed by this chain of unpleasantness and restlessness and worry, etc., etc., then it should awaken us. We must come to the Divine Supreme, which is innate in us, which is in everyone's heart. Sarvabhutanam hriddeshe Arjuna tishtati. Ishvara sarvabhutanam hriddeshe Arjuna tishtati. Bhagavan stays on, lives on in every being, animate as well as inanimate. The whole universe, the whole Brahmanda is pervaded by that Supreme Being which we call Virat Purush. Virat Purush. The whole universe is the body of God, if you have that concept. The whole universe is the body. Anyway, we need to know our true spiritual nature. We need to come to our father, mother, friend, everything that is God Himself. Sri Ramakrishna has given a perfect model how to practice bhakti. See Sri Ramakrishna. How to practice jnana. See Sri Ramakrishna. How to practice karma. See Sri Ramakrishna. How to practice meditation. See Sri Ramakrishna. He has given the model. But we are not practicing even an inch. We are not practical. What we say, what we want, we are not serious about it. Simply we talk. There it ends. Finished. Keep on talking whole life. Then one day, get rid of the body and again take another birth. Coming, going, wandering. Wandering. So, Sri Ramakrishna was talking about bhakti. The occasion was such. Sri Ramakrishna was attending some festival where all the people were enjoying the beautiful divine fervor created by bhajan, kirtan, uttering the divine name of God. They were all in ecstasy, literally, because the Supreme God Himself is present there in the body of Sri Ramakrishna amidst them. So it added to their joy. Nobody knows how they are feeling that joy, but everyone is peaceful and in extreme happiness. Wonderful experience of joy. Sri Ramakrishna himself was in his ecstatic mood. So then he tries to explain how it is very necessary for us to develop bhakti. Bhakti. When bhakti matures, it becomes bhava. When bhava is becoming more intense, it leads to mahabhava. When once a person is having that experience of mahabhava, then comes prema. The final result of the bhakti yoga is prema. Once you have that prema, you will have the vision, the realization, the experience of the divine, blissful, supreme being. Sri Ramakrishna explains that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu experienced the states of Mahabhava and Prem. He has set an ideal for us. When once the Prema is awakened, what happens? The devotee, under that influence of Prem, totally forgets the world. He forgets his own body, which is so dear to him. Giving the example of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life, Sri Ramakrishna explains that because of that prem, Gauranga Mahaprabhu jumped into the ocean, thinking it to be Jamuna. Somehow we must develop bhakti. By some method, let it be any method, whatever method you want. What is needed is somehow you must come. You must come to the home. You come either from front door or from back door or from side doors or from the rooftop. Shankaracharya entered Mandan Mishra's home through the rooftop. So what is needed is you must enter into the realm of spirituality. That's very important. At least that strong will must come to us. How does it come? Does it come simply? It comes after undergoing terrible experience. We come to know that the life is transitory. We come to know the life is fleeting. We come to know all the things we see in this world are only for a day. They won't last long. If there is anything valuable in this world, it is bhakti, bhakti, bhakti. Bhakti. It is love, prem, and coupled with service, seva. Prema and seva combined is called bhakti. Do we have such kind of bhakti? We talk of bhakti. Do we love God? Do we serve Him with wholeheartedness? Once you develop these instincts, prem and seva, then bhakti is attained through the mercy of the Supreme Being. God becomes gracious and He allows Himself to be loved and served by the devotee. If he comes to know that the devotee wants him really, he wants him and him alone. A devotee can attain this mercy. How? Through complete surrender to the Supreme. Sharanagati. What a wonderful concept. Sharanagati. Total surrender. Body, mind, soul, everything. Tanu, man, dhan. Some people are there. They are ready to give their services. They are ready to give their body. They are ready to do any action that is required of them. But you should not touch their purse. They are prepared to serve. They are prepared to undergo any hardship for the sake of service. But they don't want to be touched. With regards to money, they are very touchy. So your surrender is not complete. If you hold on to one, in spite of your other faculties, tanu man, you have given, body you have given, man you have given, dhan you are keeping yourself tightly inside your packet. As long as you keep that inside, Bhagavan smiles. Look at this pygmy. He is holding on to that money. Let him enjoy the money. Only when you are able to renounce that dhan, then you have caught the divine. Then the Supreme Being is at your door. You need not have to run to Him. Bhagavan runs to you. So where there is real love, where there is real service, where there is total dedication and loyalty, perfect identification with the divine. I want nothing but Him. That avyabhicharani bhakti, unadulterated prem, makes God run towards the devotee. He can't keep himself away from such devotee. So, what I told you earlier, we must cherish that ideal of Sharanagati. Become utterly humble, free from egoism, pride. And then purity of heart. Purity of heart. So what is most essential in bhakti is that love of God. That is bhakti. This love can be expressed in many ways. God has given those faculties to us to express that love in a way to enjoy the divine communion. Broadly speaking, there are 4 ways of bhakti. One is Vatsalya, second is Dasya, third is Sakhya, and fourth is Madhurya. What is Vatsalya? The devotion of Vatsalya Bhav is that in which parental love is expressed. Parental love. How father and mother love their child. Love their child wholeheartedly. The more they see their child, the more they want to see. Somebody was telling one day, just I was putting a question. Sometimes the children cry, They cry and it's difficult for the mother to look after the child all the time. It's not all the time the child will be smiling. Sometimes it cries. Then the mother said, Swamiji, we like that also. If the child cries, we love it. Our love is increased 100-fold when we hear the cry of the child. We run after it. We embrace the child. We pour our full heart to the child. Nanda, Yashoda, how did they express their love towards Krishna? Can you imagine? What a tremendous joy they would feel when they saw child Krishna. They didn't want anything of this world. Such tremendous love they developed towards Krishna. Of course, Krishna, the divine supreme, so divine attraction was there. That also added on to their joy. They were so pure at heart. So you could see the full manifestation of that Vatsalya Bhav, parental love towards the child. In the same way, Vasudeva Devaki. Next is Dasya Bhav. It is that in which a devotee feels himself a servant. By feeling that way, his ego is completely crushed without any trace. There should not be any trace of ego. Only when you are 100% humble, you can be an ideal servant. That means then only you can serve to your heart's content without any expectation in return. You are just serving for the love of service. That's the idea. Service for service sake. In the devotion of Sakya Bhav, the devotee feels himself a friend of his personal deity. Sri Ramakrishna practiced each one of these disciplines and enjoyed the communion with the Supreme Divine. And the final way of expressing devotion, the climax, we should say, in bhakti is Madhurya Bhava. It is that in which bhakti is fully expressed. The devotee worships the Supreme Being as one's own beloved. A devotee in this form of bhakti is considered a beloved of God. Gopis had this ideal. Each of the gopis feels herself to be the beloved of Krishna. Tulsidas, the author of Ramcharitmanas, he was a follower of Dasya Bhakti. Bharat, Lakshman, Hanuman, they are all masters in the ideal of service. They were all highly delighted in serving Rama. They would feel immense joy in serving Sri Ramachandra. Sri Rama is their master and they are his servants. Madhurya Bhakti is regarded as the highest form of bhakti. That's why I said it is the climax in the realm of bhakti. One who really practices Madhurya enjoys supreme joy. A devotee cultured in the ways of bhakti. For example, an Indian wife, to give an example, who has been brought under good traditions and conventions, as a dutiful, modest, sincere, honest, noble wife, in her various roles comprehends all the attitudes that are to be found in the various kinds of bhakti. She is a mother, she is a servant, she is a friend, and she is a beloved. All this together fully blossomed in the pure heart of the devotee. Therefore, Madhurya Bhakti includes everything involved in Vatsalya, Dasya and Sakya. That's why the gopis occupy a very important place among the devotees of Lord Krishna. Suradas, a great devotee of Lord Krishna, says that The gopis are manifestations of Krishna himself. The whole being was uttering nothing but Krishna. Day in and day out. The whole mind, the whole body, everything was occupied by the Krishna consciousness. They are fully aware of Krishna and Krishna alone, nothing else. So far about bhakti, Sri Ramakrishna has given so many ideas. What is needed is practical life. Take the ideal and start living. Start. We are not starting at all. The problem is in starting the vehicle, starting the journey. Most of us have not started the spiritual journey at all. Though we are talking about spirituality, we are not following any definite ideal, definite path. So Sri Ramakrishna is telling us, warning us, life is transitory. It is fleeting. Make use of the life when you are fully aware of things. Make the best use of the life and come to Divine Lord. So much about bhakti Sri Ramakrishna said. Then talking about scriptures. Is it necessary for us to keep on reading and discussing about scriptures? It's not that Sri Ramakrishna is discouraging. No. What he wants to say is that you have the satisfaction of reading some scriptures. Good. Afterwards, you must think yourself deeply. You must know the essence of the scriptures. Once you know the essence of it, then dive deep in order to realize God. Don't spend the whole life in keep on arguing things about whether God is there, whether God is not there, what happens this, what happens that. Even in millions births you won't be able to solve. Take the essence, practice it. And Sri Ramakrishna gives he takes himself as an example. Look, Divine Mother Kali gave me all experiences. She taught me the essence of Vedanta is Brahman alone. That is real. And the world is illusory. The essence of the Gita is what you get by repeating the word 10 times. The word is reversed. Gita, Gita, Gita means tagi, tagi, tagi it comes. If you repeat 10 times, Gita is nothing but tagi. Tagi means renunciation. Renunciation. The king of spiritual practices. The king. Do you want to become a king? Renounce. Renounce everything and practice spiritual discipline for the realization of God. Renunciation is possible only when you get rid of the sticky attachment. Sticky. No more say, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. Stop that. If anybody asks you, what do you want? I don't want anything. Do you want anything? No, I don't want. Be sincere about it. Then you will see what tremendous effect it has got. Unless you renounce the worthless and useless things, the things that are impediments on your way to spirituality, how can you realize God? Renunciation is the basis. What is bhakti? It is nothing but renouncing everything for the sake of the divine being. But then Sri Ramakrishna tells, well, some people have to perform the worldly duties. They can't run away in the name of renunciation. Their very nature pushes them to do work. Arjuna also said, I don't want to fight. I will become a monk. I want to retire to forest. I can't kill this kith and kin. And Lord Krishna said, your very bones will fight. What are you talking about? It's all temporary renunciation. It is not stable. Your renunciation is false. False renunciation. Your very nature is to fight. So that is not the way. So you have to purify your heart by doing your duties. You have to boil the vegetable if it has to become soft. So performing the duties is like boiling the vegetables. You become soft. You become mellowed. All your angularities are brushed. You feel compassionate towards others. You become more and more concerned with others. You become aware of the suffering in this world. But then, Sri Ramakrishna never said renunciation is not necessary. He never said that. He said, you do your duties, but then you develop mental renunciation. In the mind, don't be attached to the duties or any such things. You are doing the duties for the duty's sake. Have that attitude. Do it nicely, offer it to God. Oh Lord, I have done my duty. The rest is yours. Be content with it. No complaint afterwards. You should never complain. If you complain, that means you are not doing your duty properly. Without complaining, do your job thoroughly well, leave the result to God. Everything is His. Develop that attitude. So develop mental renunciation. So much about scriptures and other things. Then Sri Ramakrishna gives another important teaching, that some people want to enjoy yoga as well as bhoga. They want both. Why not? So Sri Ramakrishna warns, yoga and bhoga, you can't have them permanently. You must get rid of one of them. If you get rid of yoga, you will be again dumped in the world. Get rid of bhoga, then you will rise in the yoga. So, call on God, pray to Him. Oh Lord, I don't want the glories of Thy world bewitching Maya. I want You and You alone. God dwells in all beings certainly. Then who is devotee? He who dwells in God. He who has merged his mind and life and innermost soul in God. He is called devotee. We have been studying the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, where he gives most valuable practical solutions to live a life of spirituality. Spiritual life is possible only when we really aspire to have real peace, if we really aspire for real freedom, if we want to get rid of bondage, so for such people, spiritual life is possible. It is true, sometimes we know the facts. We know what is spiritual life, what is the life in the world. We know both of them. Yet, it is rather very difficult to hold on to spiritual practice. In spite of the fact spiritual life gives us freedom, it gives us peace, it gives us joy. In spite of knowing these facts, we are unable to pursue the spiritual way. So many factors are responsible for that. We have inherited so many tendencies. We have shaped ourselves in such a way, it becomes rather impossible to get rid of all these hurdles on our way to spiritual path. So Sri Ramakrishna suggests we need not have to worry over that issue. It's all right. Somehow we have to solve it. So he suggests that there are so many methods to practice spirituality. So many yogas are there. Wonderful. But then, while discussing with the disciples, Sri Ramakrishna said, one who has surrendered to the divine has nothing to fear. It may not be possible for us to practice any spirituality, to practice any yoga. Probably it is very difficult for us, but it should not be difficult for us to surrender ourselves. surrendering to the divine, surrendering to that divine, supreme, all-loving Shakti, whose worship we are doing tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock, under whose protection the whole creation is being sustained. The same message is given in Srimad Bhagavad Gita as taught by Lord Krishna. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja ahantva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. The Divine Lord is giving assurance of hope. Why do you grieve? Why should you grieve? As if you have no body to take care of. Surrender yourself to me. You will see how I will make you free from all types of sins. You are not to bother about them at all anymore. Relinquish everything now. Take full refuge. Not half and half. Not 75%, 25%. No. If I surrender, surrender completely. So we should have that ideal. If you hold on to that ideal of surrendering to the Lord,